Brilliant! Ho, ho, ho! Good tidings! Stuff my stockings. Welcome to the stream.
Hello and welcome to Qyjari's Curious Crafts. Today on Aunt Anne's tree, I am going to show you how you can make this delightful little popsicle ornament as voted on by you viewers last week. I was able to put a prototype together. As you can see, I did the orange one. And as my son Drake said to me when I showed it off on my Tuesday night stream, that nobody likes the quote punk-ass orange flavor. So I decided that I'm going to make the cherry flavor one today instead of the orange. And then we'll have a variety to put on my Etsy shop. Today and this week, all of the creators on Nerdsmith are promoting Shenanigoons. As you can see right here below on my screen, their logo and the time that they stream. They play Dungeons and Dragons on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific. So for you East Coasters, that's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. If you want to watch a late night Dungeons and Dragons stream, they are the people to go see. Anyway, let's get started. I've got the pattern here. If you want the pattern, you can just join my Discord, and it is available on the Aunt Anne's Tree category in my Discord channel. So the link to that is below in the Twitch stream. And then just cut out the pattern and we'll start making a popsicle. Well, you know, a felt popsicle. The materials that you'll need for this project are obviously some felt, and I have all three flavors here. Of course, I've got the punk-ass orange, which we've made already, so I'm not going to use that. Cherry flavor and grape flavor. I guess those are everyone's favorite. So we're going to make the cherry flavor one today. And you'll also need these popsicle sticks. Now, these are larger. I decided to make this a little larger than the normal size popsicle. These are about 6 inches by 3/4 inch. You can see on my cutting board that has the measurement there how big they are. And you can buy these by the dozens, or you could just steal a couple from your doctor's office. These are tongue depressors as well. We'll only need one of those. You'll also need, I'll set those aside, some sort of bling or sprinkle for your popsicle. I chose seed beads on the orange one. I'll raise it up to my camera. I hope it's not going to do the in and out thing again, but you can see kind of the sprinkles on there. I just did little seed beads, but I did not have this color seed bead for the cherry flavored one, so I found these bugle beads. They're called bugle beads. They're a little longer, but they look more like sprinkles actually. Let me put some on my hand and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, the shadow of the camera's in the way, but that's what they look like. And we're gonna sew those on instead. Now this project may take more than today to complete it. It's a little more complicated. As you can see, that blanket stitch is making this three-dimensional. We've got the outside part here and that three-dimensional part there. So there's a little more stitching involved, including the sprinkles. So this might take this week and next week. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I have a 2 o'clock hard stop time because littlest gets off the bus then. So I wish I could go afternoon. I love doing this, but not today. Okay, so the pattern is interesting. If let me get the pattern again. The felt pieces that you'll cut out, of course, you'll need the two front and back of the Popsicle body part. But you'll also need this band, and this wouldn't fit on the printout. As you can see, the paper is not quite wide enough with the margins. So I put a fold in there. And a fold on a typical pattern is marked with a dashed line. So you can see that here, and you would just put your pattern on a folded piece of felt and cut it that way. And then, of course, we've got the band part at the bottom and the smile. And I don't have black felt here on my table. Hey, Raynick, I'm so glad you're here. And thanks for the host, We Are Nerdsmith. Thanks so much.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
There's the cat dragged in. Thank you, Raynick. Also, I wanted to mention, T-Girl, thank you so much for the sub. Because of that, you get your own greeting. So I haven't set it up. I only had 2 seconds to try to set it up before going live, and I did not have that chance. But I will set that up, and next time you chat, the first time you chat in this stream, Sir Mimsy will say something very special for you. So I will set that up for the next stream, which is tomorrow night at 7, my 3 sheets, 1 shot. All right, back to our supplies. You'll need two...
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Again? It did it twice? I must have something on twice. Let me close this one down. I think I have it open twice. I know. I don't know what Sir Mimsy's doing. He's being a doof. But that's what he is. He's a big derpy dragon. You'll need 2 3mm black beads for the eyes. These are my standard goofy looking ornament eyes that I use. And I just keep a little jar of them available. You will also need, of course, coordinating floss. For this cherry flavored felt, I have number 601. I use DMC floss. You can use any brand. Just match up the floss to the felt. You'll also need some sort of coordinating 1/8 inch satin ribbon. It's really polyester. I don't know if it's satin. I get these, I think they're like 50 cents to $1 at your local craft store, or even you can find some of the colors at your local discount store. And you're just going to make that loop at the top for the ornament hook. That's right there, if you can see that orange against the orange. I actually matched that one up pretty well with that felt. Hardly see that one. Of course, scissors, your hemostats for stuffing, and some good polyfill stuffing. And those are the supplies and tools you'll need. Of course, I have my handy Surebonder glue gun. Surebonder needs to sponsor us, so sponsor us, please. We Are Nerdsmith. Hello, thank you for being here. I think that's the other one that came in. I think I gave you guys the same greeting. I wonder. We Are Nerdsmith. I thought I gave you your own greeting, and I don't know why it's not there. So I will fix that. But you have a greeting from Sir Mimsy as well. And maybe that was that one we heard. Maybe I gave you and Raynick the same one accidentally. I know, Mimsers needs to put it all together. And don't forget, Raynick, as a mod to this channel, you can catch my attention if you need to. I know. Look at you guys. You're like twins. Gasp. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to sew those little sequins on his little head and get those ready. Not sequins, these bugle beads. I'm going to get my glasses on because I can't see. And I already have a needle threaded, and this is a beading needle, of course, to fit through the very tiny openings of that of these bugle beads. Now I'm just putting it down like on his forehead as if he had bangs. Isn't that the funniest thing, of bangs? Yes. I'm paying attention as best I can. You guys are too funny. So I'm just going to scatter these across as if I was dropping blah, blah, blah. Can't think of the word. Not glitter, not sequins. Sprinkles. As if I was dropping sprinkles on our ice cream here. I have to tell you, I was so excited today when I posted the on Twitter when I posted the tune in today graphic that I always do every before every show. I laughed because a popsicle company actually liked it. And I was like, I wonder if I didn't even hashtag popsicle, but I wonder if they just do a search on all new posts that have the word popsicle in it, or it popped up somehow. But they liked it, and they have like 11,000 viewers. So I thought, or followers. So I thought, well, maybe some of the people that follow that popsicle company are coming to watch me make this little popsicle. You have a funny story about that. All right, let me hear it. Or let me read it, I guess I should say. He gets a little lewd. Okay. I know, Ranik, so everyone's safe. He's not going to post anything off color. Starlude Farm Night. Uh-oh. Oh, that's hysterical. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, it's amazing. I guess there's I've never had to deal with them, but I guess there are certain filters and certain apps or whatever you can put on Twitter to track certain words, and that's how you find I don't know. I'm a noob to Twitter, really. I've been on since 2009, but not really active except for the last couple of years when I started all my Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So I'm still learning, but that's funny. I really thought hashtagging it would, or tagging them would draw the attention, but I guess even just word searches can do it too. I keep meaning to tag Surebonder as well, and I need to add that to my checklist of things that I do each time, especially for Aunt Anne's Tree and Qyjari's Curious Crafts on Tuesday nights, because I use the glue gun most often on those streams. So we had a really fun stream Tuesday night, getting the grotto together. I have so many ideas, and I had so many viewers just chime in some great ideas for putting that build together. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm also thinking about, what do you guys think about this? I'm also thinking about putting together a push for YouTube subscribers. Welcome! Thank you so much for following. It's Arcane. I can't pronounce that last part. I'll call you Arcane. We are putting cute little sprinkles on our popsicle head. Popsicle head? I don't know about that. I don't know. But I was thinking about doing a push and a giveaway for if I reach subscribers on YouTube. I only have like 50 subscribers on YouTube, but all of these videos from Qyjari's Curious Crafts, all 3 different programs, the terrain building on Tuesday nights, all my Aunt Anne's Tree streams, and of course 3 Sheets One Shot, my D&D writing campaign one shot program on Friday nights. They're all on YouTube, but I only have 50 subscribers there. And to subscribe, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. But I just read, I'm finally doing my homework there, that if I had, I think 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of hours viewed, then I would be up to some monetization, some ads, and that would be really helpful. So I'm trying to push that, and I was thinking I'd do a giveaway, some sort of major giveaway, something from every program. So I don't know, I'm still thinking about it, but what do you guys think about that? It would be a major giveaway, like a piece of terrain or something like that. Thank you so much, Rainick. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, let's put his little smile and his eyes on. I already have. Look at this. So prepared, everybody. All right, we'll put his eyes on first. Again, all my ornaments, I try to make them as sturdy as possible, but they do contain very small parts. As you can see, these bugle beads and these seed beads and the these 3mm eyes, they're very, very small. I triple stitch my eyes on always, but they do have small parts. So these are not made for children. They're ornaments for decoration purpose only, not toys. But I do know that children can't resist cute things, and I pat my own back here. I think they're kind of cute. And I would just recommend supervision, adult supervision, if you allow your children to play with these. All my ornaments are on sale at, or for sale, I should say, at my Etsy shop, and that link should be right there, right above Sir Mimsy over there with his Christmas hat on. His Santa hat. A little bit of Christmas in May. All right, I think this is the triple one or quadruple one, but that's better safe than sorry. Okay, so now we've got the little eyes on there. Ooh. He just needs a little grin. Drake joked the other night that because orange isn't everybody's favorite popsicle flavor, that maybe I should have given the orange one a frown instead, like this. Oh. And the other idea someone had is to put a bite out of it, and I could have done that. Maybe I'll do that for the next one. Oh, thank you, Arcane. 51. Only 949 more to go. I don't push YouTube a lot, but when I saw that, I thought, wow, I should probably push that a little bit. I've got everything's up there, so it's not like it's an empty thing. Okay, now we're gonna glue using our who is it, Rainick? I actually like orange also. So yeah. I like orange also. I think I like them all. I like all popsicles. Who doesn't like? Yeah, Surebonder, there you go. All right, now I chose the Surebonder. I have several of these. In fact, Surebonder did send me a glue gun and some glue sticks, so thank you to Surebonder for that. They sent me some cloth or fabric glue sticks, but they are white. And if you don't hide the glue very well, I think they're for bigger projects where you can kind of hide the glue. On smaller projects, I do use them, but on ones that require a little bit more invisibility, I want to use the clear glue sticks for this one because we don't want any of that white to pop out from behind that little smile and spoil it. It is difficult to correct a glue gun mistake. It can be done, but it's very difficult. So I'm going to put the clear glue stick on this little smile, and we will put it on correctly, right side up. I'm going to put it in the center of the felt, and then as I give it pressure, it'll kind of squeeze out a little bit, but not too much. There we go. A little crooked smile. There. And I do want it to get to the edges though, because any kind of lift on the side could be pulled off, and I don't want that to happen. I'm reading all your this is a busy chat day. Thank you guys. Oh, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to do something I've never done before, except on this one, on the stream I mean, and that is we're going to actually glue some of the stuffing onto the back of the stick, but first we have to poke it through. We're going to do that by making a tiny slice, fold the bottom piece, and then make a tiny slice at the bottom, right in the center, like that. We don't want it too big. We don't want it bigger than the stick, but we want it about just a little smaller than the stick. And then we're going to push that through like that. Now we're not going to glue it on yet, but when we do glue it on, we're going to glue the this will be kind of the tricky part. We're going to glue some of that stuffing onto the back of it. And I noticed, because when I put this stick in the first time, stuffing it underneath the stick once it was sewed on was very difficult. So we're going to set that aside and be ready to do that when we get this part on. Now, here comes the long part. we're just going to have casual chit chat as we sew this on. This will be a blanket stitch like I've shown you before. Let me show you a little one here. I did not turn my air on down here in the basement in my stream studio, and it is warm under all these lights. That is a blanket stitch, and it's so much easier to see with this dark gray felt and the yellow floss. It's harder to show you on the actual product that I'm working on because of the matching, because it's all matchy-matchy. But that's a blanket stitch, and I've shown you how to do that before. And this one's a little different. Typically, the ornaments I make are a little flatter, and they're just basically the front is sewn to the back. And we could do that, but I want to show you a different step. A little different. Make it a little bit more. So I'm going to get another thread of, or needle with a thread of, see, I'm prepared, everybody. Yeah, Laurena should really post her stuff on YouTube. I don't get a lot of watches, but I get a few, especially those who enjoy the stream and miss it when it's on live, and then it goes off of Twitch after a while. I'm going to do the starting stitch like normal, which is I'm going to bury that first stitch in the very corner of the back piece, and you can't see that from this side. That's why you want to use good quality felt. And I'm going to push that through so the knot stays in the center. And we're going to sew this just like a blanket stitch all the way around. And we'll just chit chat. How about that? Is it mid-70s there? That's nice. It's in the 80s here. I'm in Atlanta, but but it's just warm down here. I guess it's just stuffy. And especially with all these lights on. So let me tell you what I'm doing with 3 Sheets One Shot. Since I started 3 Sheets One Shot in January of this year, we have done several different campaigns, little one-shot campaigns. And it started out to be that they were just one-shots that you could run with whatever suggested level that we decided at the time for the player characters. And eventually I realized that even though they're one-shots and they can be run independently of each other, the story is ongoing, and we're following this band of adventurers from level 1 to, if everything goes well, should be about level 8 during our current campaign writing that we're doing. So I thought, why don't I go ahead and combine all the stories into a giant document and put it up on DMS Guild for everyone to enjoy, sort of a pay what you want kind of deal. I have a membership into DMS Guild, but I haven't posted anything there yet. I'm kind of afraid to do that. But I have really been enjoying editing that story, expanding on the story. In fact, yesterday I wrote the entire history of, well, a summarized history of how the netherwork mines were discovered, and that netherstone ore that's in the mines and what it does, and the ruling family that learned its properties. And it was just fun. I mean, my Google searches were outrageous yesterday for all the things that I looked up. It was fun. Oh, you got a job. That's great. Congratulations. In New Hampshire? Where are you right now, if you don't mind? Is that a long journey for you? A big change? Texas. Ooh, New Hampshire's going to be a big change for a Texan. I don't know if I could do it. I'm definitely a Southern girl. I like the sunshine. I don't know if I lived in Connecticut once, and I really like I really like the sunshine and the warm. Okay, here's where it gets a little tricky. Oh, so you're used to it. Okay, so you're used to that. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. this is a little tricky. This is supposed to go around here three-dimensional, like this. But to get that to happen on this rounded piece, we're going to have to this is, I love felt because of this. We're going to kind of force that edge with this strip to just go around like this, and we're going to hold it flat. It's kind of gathered here, and we're going to hold that and do that blanket stitch as we go. Now these blanket stitches, I typically tell all my crafters out there to do a 1/4 inch stitch. This is a little smaller than that because of sort of the fact that it really has to hold it together. Anne has to hold it together today. I am minus producer this long weekend. Yesterday, Clover left for her middle school trip to Disney. So they're in Disney World. Got in last night and won't be home till Sunday. This is an annual trip the school makes with the 8th graders for any student involved in a music program there. These are all the music kids. Now they're going to perform in Disney also. And she is in orchestra and girls choir, chorus of course, and chamber choir. So all of those different groups are performing at Disney and won't be home until Sunday. So it's just Littlest and Drake and I at home with Crow this weekend. She's probably already having a blast. It's a long bus trip though. I know they take charter buses, but still. It's a long bus trip. Oh no, you couldn't go? Aw, that's a shame. They should really make it a senior trip, you know? They should make it for the older kids so that everyone gets a chance to go. You've never been to Disney? Rannick, you need to come down. Stop here on your way down and go to Disney. I've actually only been very few times. Clover's actually been there more times than I have with her various choir trips that she's taken with and youth trips she's taken with church. It's only about an 8-hour drive from where we are, so. Nice! Carnival. Oh, after you graduated. Oh, what a bummer. Aw. I really can't complain though. When I was a senior, our senior trip, this was here in Georgia, but our senior trip was a cruise. So my first cruise ever was, I can't remember what ship it was. I want to say it was Royal Caribbean. I can't remember. But it was a long time ago. I am old. But that was what the seniors did at the school I attended here in Georgia, is a cruise out of, I think it was probably out of Fort Lauderdale. I can't remember. Like I said, long ago. Yeah. Yep. Nope. I agree. I absolutely agree. It's a lot of money to go to those cons. Exactly. That's in fact that's the reason why I canceled Scafrapalooza the first year we canceled it, because we couldn't afford to go to my British son. I don't really have a British son. We couldn't afford to go to my British son's wedding that year, and I said, well, if I can't go to his wedding, we really can't spend $2,000 on Scafrapalooza. Scafrapalooza is the Crow and I are guild leaders of a group of friends who have played, we've played EverQuest and World of Warcraft together for, how long has it been now? 1999 is when I started, so I started the guild in 2000, the first guild, so it's 19 years. Oh my gosh. So we don't have a Scafrapalooza. It just got a little bit big. And people started having kids. And I ran out of room. Okay, so we've gone all the way around, at least with this band. You saw that I turned the corner here. And I will open it up in 1 second and show you when I get to the end of this one little part. I'm only giving it a gentle pull, and you can see right here that I have, I'd rather it be too long than too short. So that that band here was just a little bit, I'll trim that in a second, it's a little bit too big, but I'd rather it be a little bit too big. If it is too short, you can realize that if you realize that as you're sewing it here, just give it a little tug as you sew, and it will adjust. You can adjust its size. Don't tug too much because you can tear it. But if you tug a little bit, you could get it to line up much better if it's not too much shorter. Okay, so let me trim that actually while we're talking. I don't want to trim the thread because I haven't tied the knot yet, but I will trim that felt piece. And then I will open it up and show you that we have the inside of our little popsicle. That's where the ice cream goes. That we won't see. The stuffing. Okay, now we're going to put the base on. I took the stick out. So now we are going to run that down the flat side, the long flat side first, and then back up this side. And then we will put this one on, go around here, and then close it up here, and then we'll stop, and this part will still be open right here, and that's where we'll stuff it. And then we'll sew it separately. So I am going to put this corner on. This is another tricky corner. I'm going to have those 3 little areas right there meet. And I will show you. This is kind of just a little trick. You kind of just do that one blanket stitch a couple times in that corner and do that corner stitch. I adjust it with my nail, and it's hard to, I'm a foot away. You don't want my head in the shot. Like that. There we go. There. And now I'm going to go across that bottom part there and continue around. The one thing I do enjoy about using felt is it doesn't have to be hemmed. As you can see, the edges don't fray. And most felt, you can use either side. There are some felt squares and felt that you can buy by the yard that definitely has a front and a back side. But normal felt squares, which is what I usually use, it doesn't matter what side you use. So that's kind of cool. All right, I'm getting to the end of my string and I don't want to run out, so I'm going to tie this off and grab another one. Oh, don't throw age into that. All kinds of adulting. Yeah, we've been together for a long time, Rainick. Went to Rainick and Leyrena's wedding. Spent some summers together. All right, that's trash. Okay. Actually, I already have one threaded, so let's just save that step and get another needle. Woohoo! Except I've caught it on the other needle. Nice, Anne. Nice! There. So much for coordination, eh? That's right. The first time I saw her, and I remember looking at her in that very, very medieval looking dress, and I was so jealous. It was so beautiful. Okay, so I don't really need to bury this stitch because it's inside anyway, but I am going to run it up through stitches that are already there, simply so the knot doesn't poke through. Just like that. It's hard to see on that pink, I'm sorry. Or cherry, I should say. Here's the tuxes. Oh yeah, that's right. I had to go pick up a tux for the groomsmen. I'm like, here's your tux and I need $80. All I remember is the time change that weekend. And we arrived to the church an hour early. I don't know if you knew that or not, Rainick. And the night before, we went and had a steak dinner at a steakhouse that we can't remember the name of, but Crow said it's the best steak he's ever had. And that says a lot, because he's not a big steak person. He loves chicken and pastas and stuff. But yeah, we arrived. We left. There was no one there. We left, grabbed some McDonald's, came back. We got the good seats though. Got there early. That's okay. We just didn't think about it. No one else made that mistake, so it was just us. Okay, so now we're gonna go across this part right here. What's our time looking like? Oh, I have plenty of time. We might get this one done today. Okay. So you can see I've squeezed the 3 corners there together, and I'm going to do that corner stitch again. If you hit that other piece, that's okay, because it's that corner. Actually hold it together a little bit better. And I'm going to put that stitch in the corner. I will show you what I mean by that with the gray and yellow sample here. I'll set that down and show you what I'm talking about. It's this corner like that, right there. You go in that corner and give it a little pull, and that just gives it a finishing look instead of having sort of the felt corners pop out there. And then we'll just continue with our blanket stitch up this side. Uh-oh. I've got some knots going. I've showed you guys how to fix the knots. If your stitches start catching, hold that needle and thread up above your head, let it spin. That's not too bad, and that'll help avoid some thread catching and knotting. Oh man, someone's trying to call the house. Probably a telemarketer. I avoid those. Okay. We had someone come by the house yesterday. I didn't answer the door. He was driving through the neighborhood on not a Segway, but a hoverboard. Some salesman. And I'm like, dude. He came back later. I didn't answer the door, and then he came back later. Okay, so I've got the base on here, the bottom, except this one corner, like I said, we left open. And I'm going to attach this the same way I did before. Except before I do that, I'm going to put the popsicle stick in and glue it. Because once this is on, it'll be more difficult to do that. Okay, so with the needle and thread still attached, I am going to insert the popsicle stick. And I think about halfway is what I did. Let's see. Let's compare. Right about there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that against the felt, folding it up like that. So the felt is, the rough edge of the felt is on the inside of the popsicle stick. I'm going to hold that, and I'm just going to give it a quick glue with the glue stick. The clear glue stick with the glue gun on both sides. And that's going to hold that popsicle stick in there and seal the gap between the felt and the popsicle stick. And I'm going to blow on it to cool it down. So once that's dry and cooled, you can get high temp or low temp glue guns. Either will work. Depends on what you're working with. Sometimes a high temp glue guns with some finer fabrics and finer pieces of materials that you use can melt it. So you do want to try to use a low temp. With felt, I'm not too worried about it. High or low, it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to glue, like I said, I want to glue a little bit of the fiberfill onto the back of the stick. And that's so that I don't have to worry about trying to stuff the back of the stick once I get that top part on. So that's glued in. And I want that the back part glued in, so I'm going to flip it around this way. And it can be not a moderate amount, a little less than a moderate, because you don't want it to poke out higher than the, you don't want it to be lumpy, you want it to be smooth. So I'm gonna, there we go. And I'm gonna give that a little bit, just enough to hold it in place. Like that, using your, what is it, Rannick? Sure Bonder glue gun. And then just be gentle, be careful. It is hot. And there we go. Now when we stuff it from this side, right here, because this will be the last part that's left open, it'll be a lot easier than trying to get underneath that popsicle stick nice and even, because it was difficult for me to do that on this one. Just give it a little bit of stuffing. Okay, so now we can finish sewing up, putting the top on. We're going to do that corner the same way we've done before. It is a little more cumbersome with that popsicle stick hanging out there, but that's okay. We can do it. We have our neighborhood has a sign out front of the neighborhood that says no soliciting. No door-to-door, no flyers. But they come around anyway. And I just tell my neighbors, this, don't answer. I know they say you should answer, because they say that if you don't answer, then they might assume it could be someone nefarious. That's a good word. I like that word. Who then might try to break in, thinking that no one's home. So I've heard that you should answer the door and just shoo them away. But to me, that only encourages them, and I just would rely on my alarm system to in case anything happens, and I keep a close watch. It's a relatively safe neighborhood anyway. Alright, I'm going to get that corner going, and once I get that corner in place, it'll be much easier then to continue doing our blanket stitch around the top part of our popsicle, our cherry flavored popsicle. What's that old Brian Regan joke about? Or all 5 temps, yeah. I learned my crafting from my grandmother. I called her Nana. That's what she was known as by all of us kids. And she's the one who every year made everyone in her family, all the kids and all the couples, their own Christmas ornament. And that's exactly where this all came from. And she would do these felt stitched type ornaments with the sequin accents on them. And that's funny because people who buy them at local stores, when I go to shows here in the Atlanta area, craft shows and such, they commented, these are just like the ones my grandma used to make. I'm like, that's where I learned it. She had to she kept going. She had to stop at great-grandchildren, though. It was getting to be about 3 dozen she'd make every year. And then after she passed away, they found, her children found a couple of shoe boxes and in her craft closet that had ornaments in them for everyone for the next 2 years. So she was ahead of the game. And I took up the mantle for a little while, and for at least my immediate family and my sisters and brothers and eventually their children. And I made ornaments for them every year until it got to be, for me, about 2 dozen. Got to be too much. In fact, that's where the name Aunt Anne's Tree came from. I'm sure those of you who have heard the story before you can tune out for a second. But for those of you who haven't, my nephew and nieces, their mom, my sister, always put out several trees during the holiday season. And
cheeky!
That is cheeky! What was that? You're raiding! Thank you so much for the raid! I haven't heard cheeky in a long time from Sir Mimsy. Thank you so much for the raid, Secondhand Samurai. You are awesome. We are working on this cherry flavored popsicle craft ornament here. And we are just sewing using a blanket stitch the top part. We've got it partially stuffed already because I discovered making the prototype orange popsicle how difficult it was to stuff it with that popsicle stick blocking the backside. So we pre-stuffed a little bit by gluing that stuffing onto the popsicle stick. It's really a tongue depressor. It's larger than a popsicle stick. Sayora of the Map sent you here. Well, thank you, Sayora. If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. I think it's funny. There should be a pronunciation guide for some of these more unusual names. I know people mispronounce Qyjari all the time for Qyjari's Curious Crafts. I think it was Rainik who started that, actually. Started calling her Q-tip. I'm like, dude, it's not her name. Qyjari came from my High Elf cleric in EverQuest. That was her name. She wasn't my main character. My main character was Rajan. But that name was already taken on Twitter when I joined in 2009, and so I switched to Qyjari, and there's no other Qyjari from what I could tell. So I'm pretty unique there. I like that. Yes, you can. They're not currently posted on Etsy, but I will post them, and you have a choice of 3 flavors. You can have the, as my son says, punk-ass orange, because I guess there's a comedian out there who says no one likes the orange. They only like the cherry and the grape. And that is the other one is grape. I'm making the cherry one now, and it has these cute little glittery looking bugle beads on there, more like sprinkles on there, whereas the orange one has seed bead sprinkles on them at the very top to give it a little bit of glitz and glamour. Look at Rainik with the shout out for the Etsy shop. Thank you. I also have a Facebook page, and you can see that link there above Sir Mimsy on your right. Let's see if I can point to him. Right there. And you can send me a message there if you want a specific ornament. A lot of the ornaments I make are pictured there too. I do a lot of local shows, but I do have my Etsy shop up there. Okay, now I'm going to stop here. I'm going to measure to make sure that my fronts and backs here are gonna equal. And guess what? This one has stretched out enough to where it is going to be longer than that. So I'm going to give this a pull gently to make sure that these match up, since I trimmed this to match the back. And there, I've pulled it a little bit, and now it will match. So now I can continue sewing. We're almost done with this. This is so cool. I didn't think we'd get this done today. So that means that next week we're going to have a new ornament, and I have a picture of that new ornament right here to show you. I don't have it done, so I can't show you the final one, but I do have some cut out ready to go. Let me just put that on the screen. It is a little moose. Aww, check out the Chris Moose. We're going to make him next week, and he will take a couple weeks to do. We've done a couple of ornaments that were spring and summer. I'm going to get back to the holiday ones, the Christmas ones. So far we've made the Valentine's Day pig, and we've made a leprechaun. I like the leprechaun. I think it's adorable. We made mermaids, and it's time to get back to some Christmassy ones. And that's good for me, because then I can start thinking about Christmas time. Even though I'm not a big fan of winter, I do love Christmas. We are in the I am in Atlanta in the States, so I'm not sure where we would get that Eurovision here. May have to YouTube it later. That's a contest, right? That's like a talent contest or singing or something. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Why don't you explain to me? I do like to watch those, like Britain's Got Talent. I do like to watch those on the highlights, at least on YouTube. It is? Okay, so now I'm going to get this corner done. I think I have enough thread left on this, enough floss left here to get this corner. Because I don't really want to end. But this is that interesting little corner mechanic that we're going to do. Just like that. And catch that corner. Just like we've done for the other ones so far. Cool. I do enjoy watching those kinds of programs. But Eurovision I probably have to catch on YouTube or cable or something, because we don't have that readily available here. Another one of my favorite imports to watch is Graham Norton. I love watching him. Okay, so I finished that corner there. And it is stuck. The little tail end of my thread is stuck. I'm going to have to... Thought I could give it a yank, but it wasn't coming off. So let me just go in there. There we go. I want to tie this knot. It's very little thread left, but I want to tie it off in this corner. And, yeah, there we go. Not have to thread a new needle just to get this one corner in. There we go. The corners are kind of busy anyway, so it's easy to hide a knot in there. And we'll do what I always do, hiding the tail of your thread. Push it on through, poke it out, give it a pull, and that thread will disappear into the stuffing. All right, so now we have a little bit area here to stuff it. And as you can see, it really helped having that stuffing glued to the stick there. We're going to do a little bit at a time so it doesn't get lumpy. And we'll use our hemostats here. Oh, I gotcha. Cool. Fun. I love these hemostats. They're very handy for this type of work. I should get some more of these popsicles ready for my Etsy shop. I should get more of them done. Maybe I'll work on more of those this weekend with Clover gone to on her trip, and so I'll have one less kid to to keep me busy during the weekend. Hey, what do you guys think about me making one that has a bite out of it, and then a little sad face, similar to what I did with the donuts? I have donut ornaments, and we did a little "oh no" donut where it had a little bite taken out of it. I wonder if that would be a cute idea, having the a bite out of it and a frown, similar to the donut one. Maybe I'll make a couple like that. Make sure that as you stuff it evenly. It should be firm, but not bursting the stitches firm. You can see I'm pulling with the hemostats. Some of the clumps inside, I'm spreading them out on the inside to make it nice and smooth. And I want to get the end part stuffed a little bit more too. This is where that the stick was glued to the felt. Get those corners just like that. And then we will, so I need a little bit more right there. I can feel the stick. I don't want to feel the stick. There we go. Now we're going to sew this front part on, and that's our last little blanket stitch area right there. Now, the top part, this, I'm sure that you've noticed, my longtime viewers, I did not put that in there. It's because this one's a little trickier. There's no natural seam on which to put it in the center, so we have to do a little something trickier with that. I didn't just forget it. I know you probably thought I did, because that's my MO, is to forget that one stitch. I'm going to put that needle in through the opening to hide that thread. I'm going to actually give it a stitch, a knot right there, so it doesn't poke through. Just like that. And then I'll continue with that blanket stitch across the base. If you want to learn how to craft, I hope it's educational. I still have that cough, guys. I'm so sorry. I thought it was clearing up, but just today, probably a different version of pollen affecting me today. Around that stick, it does take a little bit of maneuvering. I'm putting the needle in where it needs to go, but I'm not worrying about that thread until I can get around that needle like that, and then I'll give it a pull. It just takes a little more patience with that part, because normally we could just push it through, but that stick's going to be in the way. Make sure there's stuffings in there. I give it a gentle pull. You don't want to do a tight pull at all. It'll look lumpy. The only time I would put a tight pull on it, believe it or not, is on what we were talking about, the teeth marks. If we do make one that has, you know what, I don't like that stitch. It is too wide. I'm pulling that out. Sorry. I know me threading needles is no fun to watch, but I didn't like that stitch, and I like for all of my products to be as nice as possible, and a mismatched stitch that's too wide or too long won't do. So let's redo on that stitch there. That's better. That's the other reason why when I thread my stitch using 2 strands of the 6-strand floss, I don't tie both ends at the knot area. I leave this part empty just for that purpose, just in case I have to take a stitch out, this is the first time during the stream I've had to, but that's a good lesson learned. Okay, this will finish up pretty easy here, and then we will put the ribbon at the top using, once again, our glue gun. I've got some stuffing hanging out there I want to get rid of. Alright, we'll put the finishing touch on the corner. Make sure that's nice and sealed in there. I'm going to gather some of the corner pieces together so they don't stick out. That one was sticking out a little bit. Let's get that tucked under there and give it a pull. There we go. Much more smooth looking there. Awesome. Okay. Once it's knotted, I'm going to bury that stitch I showed you before. Just push it through any part of the stuffed area. Make sure that it gets all the way through. Give it a little pull, and that stitch, that thread, that tail will disappear right into your ornament. Okay, so this one, we're going to make that same loop that we use for, like we've done for all of our ornaments. Normally we sew them in there, but like I said, this one didn't have a natural seam on which to put it. So we're going to make our loop, and this is the loop that the ornament hook goes through at the top when you want to hang it, just like here, like you see on this orange one. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to cut it, but I'm not going to cut it. Normally I would cut it very short, like right here, but I'm going to cut it pretty long. And the reason why is because we're going to glue it in there using our hemostats and some glue. This is a little trickier. You only want a very small hole at the top. And you can do that by using your tiny little fiskars. The tip of these fiskars are very sharp. Even closed, these are very sharp. So I'm going to just do a tiny little nip at the top, at the very center, like that. You can barely see it. I'm going to take my hemostats and open it just a little bit with that blunt end. Hemostats have a blunt end. So now I've opened it up just gently, like that. I'm opening it wider than I need, but it'll close with the glue. Okay? Now I'm going to take the glue gun, and I am going to put a tiny dab of glue inside. Just like that. I'm winding it to get some of those little, I call them webs, or I don't know, threads of glue. Now I'm going to hold this above the knot and push that into, just like that. Don't wait too long to do it though, because your glue will dry quickly on a glue gun. There we go. And there you have it. It seals itself up. I'm going to use this to squeeze that glue bit together there. And there you go. There's our popsicle ornament. So totes adorbs. I love it. There you go. Let me get that moose off the screen. That's for next week. We're going to do a moose next week, everybody. There we go. All right. Well, it's just in time. Look at that. It's 2 o'clock. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Thank you for the chit-chat, and thank you for the raid, Secondhand Samurai. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the follows and the subs. That's awesome. And if you want to go click on that link from my YouTube channel, I'm trying to get to... I know 1,000 is a big reach, but I'd love to get there, because then maybe they could send me some money. That'd be awesome. Don't forget Shenanigans Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock Pacific if you love to watch Dungeons and Dragons. They are pretty funny, and they are every Tuesday night on We Are Nerdsmith. My show, 3 Sheets 1 Shot, returns tomorrow night as we continue The Wandering Lost. Our intrepid adventurers are continuing from, I don't know, they're going to either go, I think they've gone down to the sewers. They're in the sewers now, and they've got actually another quest to complete from that mission board. Oh, thank you so much for following. Thank you. Let's see, Josephine, is that it? I might have said that wrong. I'm sorry. My eyes are bad, and the font on this screen is very small. But thank you so much for following. I really appreciate it. I love all my followers and lurkers. If you join my Discord, of course, you can get the pattern to this. It's free on the Aunt Anne's Tree category. So go there. I don't think that we have a raid today for Autumn. I think she's still a little bit busy with some things going on, so we don't have her today. But hopefully she'll return soon, so we could raid her like we always do. On Qyjari's Curious Crafts, we do continue on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock East. This is before Shenanigans. We are working on now Gizmek's Grotto, which is a Dungeons and Dragons terrain that is, in this case, it's going to be like a steampunk theme gnome laboratory. And we have got a ton of fun stuff planned for it, including lights, some glow-in-the-dark paints, a very symmetric looking floor, a bunch of stuff. So we're excited about that. And, oh, thanks, Josephine. Thank you. I want to make sure I say everyone's name correctly. And that's it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. And I hope you have a great night and a great weekend. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow night. Bye.